Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, NBC Stitcher. I'm Matt, and this is Augie. As you can, well, he's yawning there, but say hi, Augie. So welcome back. This is Flosstube episode number 12. Today is Saturday, September 19th, 2020. I just did the drawing for the needle minder from 2 episodes ago, the agate needle minder, and I'll have a little bit about that in a little bit, but I am excited to get back to give you guys an update of everything that I've done in the last couple weeks. I did film a book video that will probably be well, I don't know. It may be up now, or it may be coming soon. It kind of depends. This weekend looks like there's going to be some, I'm not sure what all's going to be happening as far as that, and how long it's going to take to download and upload and do all the things. So anyway, all right, well first, let's do the giveaway. So back in episode 10, I did a giveaway for one of my needle minders, the agate needle minders that I've made, and I went and did onto comment picker and put in the YouTube video and everything. And then did the random drawing, and this is the result. KT Reed, congratulations, you're the winner of the needle minder. I did comment on your comment from a couple of videos ago just now before I started filming, and you can either DM me on Instagram or you can send me an email, and I put my email in the comment there. So whichever way works for you, get me the information. I do have some options for you, but I'll send you some pictures of because you said you wanted a pink or purple. So her comment read, hands down, my favorite project of yours is the Mythical Creatures alphabet. The detail and the colors. Double heart emoji. I love seeing your progress on this one on IG. Your fox is gorgeous too. Such a wonderful design to transform into a sampler. I've always been fascinated by your agate needle minders. They're so pretty. I'd love to see a pink or purple one. Wonderful to meet Augie in today's video. Well, Augie is back again for this one, so I think he enjoyed it too. I don't think I actually said this, so Augie is short for Augustus. Who was the first Roman emperor. I have always enjoyed ancient Rome, as I was talking about the Latin quotes behind me last time, and they are, Roman history is one of the areas that I really have enjoyed, and I long ago decided I would not, if I had children, I would not name them after Romans. I mean, I like Roman names and I like certain Roman people in history, but I'm not going to put a child through that. But I will put a dog through that. So I decided Augie's the first. Actually, growing up, my corgi, his name was Odin. It's not a Roman name, but it is like another mythical. Well, that's a mythical god of the Norse. Right. So Augie is actually short for Augustus, Tiberius, and then our last name. But yeah, he is a little handful. He's 7 now, as of a couple months ago. So he's calming down a little bit, but he's still a little, he can be, he's also very set in his ways of certain things that he wants done at certain times. So, and he's kind of spoiled, so he gets it most of the time. Alrighty. Okay, so that was the comment or the giveaway, and so get in touch with me. I've got some pictures of some of the ones that some purples and some pink ones, and so you can pick which one you want, and I also need your address to be able to get it to you, because we don't have teleportation devices yet the world of Star Trek does not exist yet. Yeah, so, okay. As far as stitching this week, I have quite a bit of progress on some things. So I have one new start, and then several whips and a finish, or two new starts and a finish. So let's go ahead and start with my finishes slash one of the new starts, because it's the same. It's on the same fabric. Okay, so this is the Pain-Free Crafts Alphabet Sal that I have been doing. Okay, Augie, what are you gonna do? Last time I was working on the Kraken K, and I had done most of it, I think. I have finished the back stitching, and I have moved on to start the Leviathan. I haven't done a whole lot. I did start him, but I just did a little bit, and I am moving along there with the Leviathan. Did move over the Q-snap and everything, and I also put on a different grime guard. This is the Garon Tote Bags grime guard that I got had in my last video. That's a bunch of books. I kind of figured that goes with this project being, a big fantasy alphabet thing. It goes with that. So I am okay. So my next one is another new start. That and that's on 25 count Joblin. No, not 25. 32 count white Joblin. Okay, and my next one is, this is not in color, so I apologize. This is Blueberry by Singy Stitch. This is, there's several, she has a couple of these kind of patterns, Blueberry and then Watermelon, and then she has a few others. She's on Etsy, and I found her, I think Michelle Bindi mentioned her in a video back when they were starting the Representation Matters and Diversity and Inclusion Sal. And then also Noah Stitches is doing one of Singy Stitch's other patterns, which I think is called Patriotic, but it's a African American woman with a headscarf or a headdress that is like the American flag. So also a beautiful pattern, which is actually when I went back, I was looking at that at her shop from Noah's video, and then found Blueberry and was like, ooh, this is what I want. Okay, so I am doing her on a 32 count Joblin in African Daisy, which is one of the, it's by Witchelt. I think it is dyed, but it's not like just woven that way, like a mushroom Lugana or something like that. I think it is dyed, but it's one of their like standard ones that they, put out. So so it's all on here. You can see how far I got. So I started up here in the center and then went up a little bit and kind of came down. This is her giant dress. This is not quite the bottom. Or actually I think this one is the bottom, and then there's some more, it's going to go out beyond here. So I kind of worked my way down with one color and then kind of built off of that. And then I had to move the Q-snap to get to down here. I'm trying to do these big, get one of these pieces in, and then I can get to the point where I can just fill, because there's a whole bunch of like this, this color blue is going to be the majority of, it's all four of the blues, but this is the one that has the highest percentage of the four colors in the dress. And so like I'm going to try to fill this up, and then fill that color in and, kind of work from there. starting with kind of like the smaller amounts, either the darker one or the lightest one, and then kind of building out from there. And then I did start her elbow and her arm up here, and this is the front part of her dress above the skirt up there. So I've got to start on that. So she's charted in DMC, and I'm stitching her in DMC. And then there are some beads and a little bit, like 2 different kinds, Mill Hill beads, and then some treasure braid for part of her Augustus. No, baby. And part of her like belt and it kind of slash sash, because it kind of flows out behind her. It's bright pink, as well as there's some pink on her slippers, and then up here at the top on part of the top of the dress. And a lot of that has a treasure braid stitched in with it, so it's not just the DMC. That one I haven't found that yet. I haven't got the treasure braid in, so I haven't done any of the pink yet. But I'm kind of planning just to keep working on the dress, fill her in more, and get her moving along. I have really enjoyed this. I mean, that's a lot. This is all in the last week and a half. I did a couple things, and then I came back to her, and I have been stitching on her the last like 3-4 days. I stitched on her a lot last night. I was doing the virtual stitchers in the Facebook group and on the Zoom last night, so this was what I was working on. But yeah, I'm really happy with her, and this is also my other grime guard from Garon Tote Bags that I bought a couple weeks ago, and I am excited to get her moving along. I've really enjoyed this. I think Noah was asking me, like, is the dress like pretty easy to fill in? Is it, and I think it really is. I've started the Lady Justice from Mirabilia, and I kind of compared her dress to her. I think this dress is easier. I mean, there's only 4 blues, and it's easier to do it. There's less color changes, but I think you also just get this great, beautiful, vibrant color, and I really like that. So I'm excited to get this moving along. This is also one of my agate needle minders, which really kind of goes with her dress. So, yep. Okay, next up, this is another of the, I don't have the picture, but I've started the Owl Forest Embroidery 100 Owl Sal, which they have put out. This is their free sal that they're doing this year, and it's for their anniversary, I think. And so I'm still back on part 1, because this has kind of been the one at the end where I'm like, oh, I want to stitch on that again, but I've set like other goals ahead of it. So this is actually the base of the owl, and I did some more of the laurel around him, and then the gray blossoms and all that. So I've been moving along on that one. And this is 40 count Verdal in Tree Hugger. So it's a 40 count even weave, and the colorway is Tree Hugger, and this is by Stitch Me. And then this is this grime guard is one that I got from DLK Crafts, and she's on Etsy, and I've bought quite a few grime guards from her in the past, and she's commented on my video, so thank you for your support, and I appreciate all of the products that I have purchased from you and continue to use. So this is, and I did this one, it's on I put it on a 11 by 8 Q-snap because it is kind of smaller. Like since it's 40 count, you can still get quite a bit. I do tend to prefer like the 11 by 11 size, but this size it's easier to hold. You know, just it's smaller and it works better. So I kind of go between the two. And then if it's the fabric is small enough, then I'll use even a smaller one if need be. So, and so I'm also doing the owl stitch, as part of my, stitch along that I'm doing with Becca Sambry Stitches, the Owl Be Stitching Sal. I have another piece that I have started for that, and I put in some more work on this one. So this is Forest Owl. This is by Stitchy Little Fox on Etsy. And so it's basically an outline of an owl. I don't have I might have the picture, but it's basically an outline of an owl that has, and then it's kind of like a forest pattern throughout it. I do have a picture. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is kind of the tail feathers down here, the base of it. That's his little claw, or talons, I guess. And I've kind of done this dark tree outline and then come back in with some of the lighter colors and working my way up and around. So that's where I'm at. And this is on 18 count Aida it's not a named color, but it's from Be Stitch Me. This is one of the first pieces that I bought from her like a year ago or more. And back then when she was on Etsy, and she just had a few named ones and then just some random colors. And this, I think it said something like mermaid green, blue kind of mixed to it. It's really pretty. It's, you know, green, but it also has a teal undertone or a turquoise undertone to it. So it's a nice mix. Depending on the color, it kind of looks a lot more green or it looks a lot more turquoise base to it. So, and this is another Grime Guard by DLK Crafts, or DL Crafts, DKO. I'm sorry. Darlene is her name. And so this is it's a Doctor Who one. It has Daleks on it, which I liked. I did a Doctor Who piece, and I used it on that, but I'm also using it on other things. But the brown goes with green, so go from there. Okay, next up is a piece that I worked on last week. This is I got a couple of the Satsuma Street ornaments, and I started this one as part of Mania, and this is the Santa Nutcracker is the name of it. These were some of her Christmas ornament sets from 2018, and they were the Nutcracker series, is what she did then. And I got the kit directly from her on her Etsy site, and she shipped it to me, and it's on gold perforated paper. So I have been working on filling him in. You may notice that the white is really kind of puffy. I did it with 4 strands, so it's a choice. So I did, he's got quite a good look to him, though. I like it. It makes him look a little bit more, it gives a little bit more dimension to it. I'm going to do the rest of it all in, 2 strands, but I have been enjoying it, and there's some beading that will go in kind of in between there. So I think that will help. The beads will like stick up from it, but it won't be, I think it'll be good. And this will be my first time doing an ornament like this. I have done stuff on like plastic canvas, which is I guess actually needlepoint, not cross stitch, but it seems kind of similar to that, at least in idea. So I have another one of the Nutcrackers. This is going to be a gift, a Christmas gift, so it's kind of been I gotta make sure I'm working on this. I'm not doing the second one this year, I'm just doing one of them this year. So I have been doing that. I will say though, okay, I have a little complaint about this one. And not really complaint, but just a little bit of annoyance. So you see the boots down here, and they're in a dark charcoal. Well, they're supposed to be black, and the color around the you know, the arm up here at the wrist, and then the color up at the top, those are supposed to be charcoal, and those are right. But the symbol for the charcoal color is like it's a black background and then a white spade, like, you know, the suit of cards, and then the color for the black is a black background with a white diamond. So those are really similar, and I didn't realize it, and I was stitching with the charcoal, and I looked down, oh, there's more, and I went down here and finished it. I'm not going to change it. You know, his boots, if his boots were black, that would be, you know, that's more in line with his belt, and, you know, he does have black shiny boots, but this Santa's, you know, been in some sludge maybe, and so it's a little bit more charcoal-y right now than the shiny black. So that is something. I mean, the chart is in color, and I think that does limit it somewhat, but if you're gonna do two colors that are really similar, I think it's important to have two different symbols that are very different from each other, so you don't accidentally stitch one thing when it's supposed to be something else. So, but otherwise, I've enjoyed it. I did have to pull some more floss for the white because I'm doing 4 strands instead of 2, so I had to get another strand to finish that. But I finished a couple colors, and I'm getting my Santa along, and then I'll move to beading, and then I'll get him done. So I'm excited to see that one kind of progress, and hopefully we'll get that finished early this next month, or maybe I'll finish them this month. So, alrighty. So my last one is the Dark Queen of the Sea Mystery Sal, and this is part 1. This is by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and it's done in conjunction with Under the Sea Fabrics, and Leslie dyed a special fabric for it, which is called Bewitched, and this is this fabric. It's on Jobelin, so it's a little bit lighter than some of the people that are stitching on Aida or on linen. And yeah, so the first part came out at the beginning of the month, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna do 1 fish a week, and I have done that. This is the 3rd week. Sort of. I mean, I guess I'm a little early, but I got this fishy done, and I left the eyeballs and the back stitch to do at the end. So I'm going to do those sometime between now and the beginning of October, and then I'll be ready to go for the next part. So I've really enjoyed this. Erin does a really good job of, you know, the colors and the shading of it. It's really beautiful. So I've been enjoying this. This is also a grime guard by Darlene, and I have you know, this is a light blue kind of wood color to it. I have that green one that the owls is on. It's the same kind of fabric, except this is in the blue and that one's in green. So that's that one. Okay. Alrighty. So I do have some haul, so we're gonna get into that first. It's not as big this week, which is good. It's good for my wallet. So the first thing, this is sort of Stitchy related, but not directly. So Pain Free Crafts, who is the designer of the fantasy mythical creature alphabet Sal that I'm doing, and the art of that is the artist's name is Stanley Morrison. That is all designed off of, and he did. So they've licensed his work, and they have a bunch of other stuff by him and several other people. They offer quite a bit of full coverage pieces from different artists, kind of like the way Heaven and Earth does it. I haven't ever bought one of those kinds of patterns from them, just because I have a couple Hades and they take a lot of work, and I have several more that I have bought and I haven't even started, and I don't know. I'm still evaluating my relationship with the full coverage Heaven and Earth design type things. I like them, but I also like seeing progress a little bit quicker than you get with a full coverage piece, and but one of the things that they have is some of the other art by Stanley Morrison, and they do, he has a whole series of garden dragons that are like a dragon, but it's also like a vegetable or a fruit or something like that, and it's kind of built into it. He has a whole series. You can find his site on Etsy. You can get them printed in, all sorts of stuff, like, on that you could frame, or you can get it put on canvas, or all sorts of stuff you can get. But he did a series of the dragons, and they're on cards. I mean, it's like I don't know how to talk about it. It's not like playing cards, but like, it's not really tarot, but something kind of more that direction than like playing cards. But I bought a set of it from Amazon, and because I would like to frame these up. There's a bunch of them. There's 46, so they take up a lot. Like there's, if I was going to buy them individually, there's a lot of them. But this is what they look like. They're this size. Like this is apple. And I'll just show some of the ones that I really like. So there's like avocado. It's got the green stripe like from the inside, and then the kind of scaly outside. You get, this is the broccoli dragon. So there's even like a book that comes with it and kind of like explains like what habitat these kind of dragons live in, and where they what they like doing, or different things. I mean, it goes through, there's carrot, there's a celery dragon. I'll show you these together so you get an idea. So I got these because I thought it would be nice to do something with them, frame up some of them or something, maybe in a frame that's kind of like this or something a little bigger, but maybe kind of put it up in, because they're not too big. They're about 3.5 by 5, I think. So they come in a little container with like a deck container with a little book about the where you can find these garden dragons. But they're really pretty. I really like a lot of the artwork, and so I picked that up and decided, instead of stitching 46 equivalent to Hades, they don't actually have all 46 on Pain Free Crafts, but they have a lot of these. He also has a series where he does dragons that are like made up of a drink, like a mixed drink, like an old fashioned or a margarita, or different types of that, and it's like in a glass, and then the dragon is coming out. There's some really pretty different, interesting pictures. He did an Egyptian god series that is really cool. I might pick up some of those like on canvas or prints and then frame those, because there's some of those that I really like as well. But it's more than one, and I don't know that I want to stitch all of those, as that kind of thing. Okay, so that's that one, and then we'll get to the actual Stitchy haul. So first up, I got, and this is a spoiler alert, if you are in the Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month Club and you have not got your fabric yet, look away if you don't want to be spoiled. So, and I am in the color club, and I don't know what the other option is this month, but I get 32 count Lugana, and this is pumpkin pie, and it is just a gorgeous, like, you know, light colored pumpkin pie with some nice modeling. I think that there's like 50 things that I could do on that. It's gorgeous. It's not super colorful. It's colorful. I mean, it's not super bright, I guess. But it definitely has a color to it. But it's the kind that I like. It's the kind of neutral that I would like to do something on, or kind of like a, you know, it's not super colorful, but not super. It's not like a neutral, like a light colored neutral. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, and then I also bought from Brandy a piece of 40 count for doll that she had some extra, or she had enough to do her dyeing, and I was looking for a piece of this. It's just white, but I'm going to do Dog's Declaration from Ink Circles on this. It's kind of a big chart, and I didn't really want to get a fat half, and if I did it on 40 count, I could do it with just a fat quarter, and it's stitched 1/2. The called for is 36 count, and the floss pack is designed for 36 count 1/2, so if I do 1/2 on 40 count, it'll definitely fit. You know, shouldn't have to worry about the floss. Which I'm excited, and it's so many different colors and there's so much variation. I think the white will look great. I like stitching on white. I like having, you know, I like either a color, like generally I like, you know, a strong color, a strong choice, and then the stitching on it, or something, or like a white, like a simple. I'm not a big fan of like ivory or like cream. It's just not my, I prefer like white, so, or like a strong color. That's in general. I mean, you know, people, it changes over time, and of course, and everything. Okay, and then next up, so I got some charts from Abby Top Knot Stitcher. I bought a few. I placed an order with her. I did a pre-order of the Ink Circles Fire Dragon, which is the last, or it's the fourth of the elemental dragons, and I didn't have. So I have started Earth, and I have Water and Air, and then now I have Fire. So I have a plan for what I'm doing on all of those, and I have fabric for the Earth and Water and floss, and I am working on the fabric for this one. I've ordered it and I'm waiting for it, but you know, with everything, the delays in getting fabric to the dyers, it's taking longer for lots of people, but that's what we gotta deal with. I'm not stitching anytime soon, so I don't really care. And then I picked up a couple of the Madame Chantilly, what is it? Well, it's like the Friends and Drink. I don't know what you want to call it, but this is the winter one, the winter hot cocoa. I love that fox and that owl. I really like this group of them, and so I wanted to do that. And then I also bought, there's the summer lemonade one that Abby had, and got that from her as well. And there's another one, I think there's either a spring, I don't remember what it is, but there's a spring or a fall one, and then the other one is coming. And so, yeah, the Steel City Stitchers, they got them. I don't know if they've arrived yet, but they're going to be doing, Erin, I think, and Kristen are doing some of them, or they're doing them. I think Erin said she was just doing the animals and she's not going to do the words underneath. But if you want more details, go watch their channel. This is a couple episodes ago, so it's not too long ago. All right, I also got, I pre-ordered this through Fire Poppies, and it came in and they sent it to me. This is the new Filipina Mayari, Deity of the Moon, and she is gorgeous. This is also, the called for fabric is Brandy's at Be Stitch Me's Cosmos, which is really cool because you get, because I think, I'm not showing you the pattern, but yeah, so that's really exciting because it's like some of the designers actually starting to use her, and I'm really excited to see that for her. And this is one I probably will pick up some of this at some point. I don't know when I'm going to start this, but I noticed when I was looking at her and then the other ones, so they're charted for on 14 count Aida, or the called for is 14 count Aida or 28 linen or something, you know, and with the beading, that's kind of the requirement. But they're so big that that's really a huge piece of fabric. You can, a lot of people will do like a custom cut, so you may be able to do that. But yeah, I am, because she's 160 by 331, so she's a big girl. And I think if you do, some of them you might be able to fit on like a big cut of 32 count. And I guess you could probably fit it on some of it, you may have some margin issues, but I don't know. So yeah, I'll figure out I haven't even decided what I'm gonna do. It looks like, so I didn't go through the whole thing, but for the most part, there's only a few fractionals. Most of it is full cross and then some back stitching and beads, but there's not a huge amount of fractionals. I mean, this is not like my alphabet Sal. It's, you know, I haven't stitched a whole lot of Mirabilias. I've started quite a few, but I haven't finished any of them. It almost seems kind of like those, where there's some like fractional stitches, but it's not a huge amount. So I don't know, maybe the Aida maybe it would work good on Aida, maybe not. If any of you have done any of the big Bella Filipina patterns on, what have you guys stitched them on? Like, have you done them on Aida? Have you done them on even weave or linen, or what? You know, what's worked for you all? So that's that. And then the last thing I got, I ordered a kit. Actually, I've ordered a couple, but I'm waiting for the other ones to come. But this is a Riolis kit, and so I saw this one, and then there's another bonsai tree that's like this one that is like green instead of the pink and stuff, and so I ordered both of them, and so these are from Russia. I ordered it on Amazon, so it was something, this one was like directly from Amazon, and then the other one had to come from somewhere else. So I ordered the two of those, so I really like those patterns. I will, and it comes with like the floss, and it's on 14 count Aida, I'm pretty sure. This is 14 count even, that's an Aida. So I think I'll probably do it, I don't know that I'll do it on the Aida, not because it's Aida, but 14 count is so big, it's not my favorite to stitch on, just for the coverage that you get usually. So I may switch it up with some kind of even weave or something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to do that. And then I've got another one coming. And then I got enabled, that I'm sure none of you have had this experience, so I will speak about it. But I was watching Flosstube and I saw something and I was like, I need to have that, or I need something similar. And so Julie, Kansas City Girl in Colorado World, was showing her new Lenarte kit that she got from I think it's called African Woman, is the name of the kit, but Julie's renamed hers to Amari, which is a character from a book series that she's read, and I've read the first one. But I went on, because she got it on Amazon. I mean, it came from the UK, but it was like a seller on Amazon, I guess. So she got one, and I was looking on there. There's quite a few that are gorgeous, and I think are beautiful, and definitely something that I would like to stitch. And so I found one that her name is Sakura, or Sakura, and she's also gorgeous. So I am waiting for that to come, and then, but I definitely think I might get another one in the future. They are not inexpensive, but they are, I mean, you get everything you need, and it does look beautiful. So I think Julie was talking about it, and I haven't stitched it yet, but I wonder, because she's saying, you know, there's definitely some like, there's individual colors that you put in the where you're stitching, and it doesn't really make sense, but then when you get everything else around it, it really does kind of the overall effect. So it's kind of like a full coverage, like a heaven and earth type of thing, and so, you know, you get some of that from there. But yeah, so that's it. So this is probably, I think this is my shortest video ever, but that's okay. I just didn't have as much haul, and, you know, got through the stitching and all that. So alrighty, everybody. I'll put this, before I sign off and everything, I do want to say a little bit. I did, you know, yesterday was Friday the 18th, and, you know, there was Justice Ginsburg from the United States Supreme Court passed away on Friday, and so there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen next and what is going to, you know, the future, and what it's going to look like. And it's something that I know a lot of people are going to, it's something I've thought about. It's something that I mean, it's been on my mind. I spent probably 30-40 minutes this morning writing a letter to one of my senators, of trying to get him to wait before doing something, before replacing her. And I don't really get into a whole lot of politics or anything, and this is kind of more political, but you know, it's also something where, like, as a lawyer, I have seen the great impact that changing up one member of the court can have. In our system, it's a big impact. I don't think, personally, I believe that the Supreme Court should be, I don't want to fill it up with a whole bunch of Democratic nominees or a whole bunch of super liberal justices. And a lot of people that kind of look at Justice Ginsburg, she did have an impact on the court in some of those ways, but she also had a big impact on other issues that she did not fall in line with the liberal wing of the court. And I believe that the purpose of the court is to be an apolitical check on the other branches of our government. That has kind of shifted over the last couple decades because of different decisions and things, and it is something that we don't really know the full impact of what's going to happen there. So it's difficult. I don't, you know, if you have particular feelings about it, this is also something I think that a lot of people are going to have concerns over, and there's a lot of uncertainty about it. So just, if you can, you know, be considerate of everybody, that, you know, what all they're going through. It's not the most. It creates a lot of uncertainty, which is the hardest thing to deal with when we have this year full of so much else of it. So, I mean, the extent I'm talking about, I mean, there's no doubt that she was a champion of equal rights for people, gender and other, that's what she fought for before she came to the bench, and that's a position that she's kind of extended. And she did have a view of the Constitution that is, for the most part, something that I agree with, on the idea of that it's more of a living document that kind of reflects the approaches from as society changes and the American people have changed over the decades, that there's a shift, and the Constitution has to move along with that. It can't just be stagnant back when it was originally passed or when the amendments were passed. But it is something that I think is important to consider. I mean, when I was talking about that she does not always fall in line, or she did not always fall in line with the other justices, and this is kind of super particular to legal stuff, and so I may not be explaining this the best way, but there's an idea so the term is called personal jurisdiction, and basically it's a doctrine that involves whether that court can hear the case, or whether a particular court can decide a matter over a party. And there's been all sorts of doctrines and approaches to it over the years, but one of Justice Ginsburg's biggest impacts, she was very much very considerate over that area of the law, both on the personal jurisdiction side as well as subject matter jurisdiction for federal courts, that it was something that she was well known for. And it's kind of in this broader subject of civil procedure. But she, several of her opinions dealt with the idea of can you sue, there's a concept called contacts jurisdiction. Basically, there were instances where plaintiffs were suing where a company was doing business, but it was not the state where that incident happened. So, take an example of okay, you had a slip and fall at Walmart, and this happened in Texas, and you live in Texas. Well, you can sue in Texas because that's where it happened, but there may be the attorney finds, okay, well, it's actually, we got a lot better chance of winning something really big if we sue in California. And this is, I don't know the differences of it, but this is just an example. And so they would sue in California because Walmart, there's lots of Walmarts here in California. They're considered at home, so yeah, you can sue here. Even though it had nothing to do with that place or anything along those lines. And she really evolved that doctrine to, it's really much now, if it's a corporation like that, you can sue them in the state where it happened, or where they're headquartered, or where they're incorporated. So Walmart would be, in that instance, you had slip and fall in Texas. You could sue in Texas, you could sue in Arkansas because that's where they're headquartered, or you could sue in, well, I don't know where they're incorporated. They may be incorporated in Delaware, they may be an Arkansas company, but lots of companies are incorporated in Delaware. So it may be Delaware, or it may only be Arkansas, or they may be incorporated somewhere else, and it would be that state. But it's not if they're not incorporated in California, they're not going to be, able to be sued there, even if they have 500 stores in California and have a huge presence there. And that's kind of a big, it really, over the last decade, there have been several opinions that have really changed that whole area. And that really has been a benefit to big companies and big multi-state, multinational corporations, that they don't have to be worried about all of the suits against them now occurring in a state where it's unfriendly to them. Whether it's wrong or right, it wasn't really a decision that Justice Ginsburg, I think her approach to it was, this is what the law is. It doesn't really make sense to require all these companies or individuals, it doesn't have to be a company, but for them to be sued in a place where they've never been, or where they have been but not for this purpose, and it's not like that it's related to that. So it just, it's kind of a long impact into something that's kind of technical on the legal side of it, but there are a lot of justices that make decisions that are not political and not the reason for it. Some of them do have a political bent to them, and I'm not saying that they don't. And some of them have a philosophy on one particular area of the law that aligns one way, and then another area that aligns a different way. And I think Justice Sandra Day O'Connor was one of those, where on some issues, she was way more on the liberal side, and on some issues, she was way more on the conservative side, and it just kind of depended on what the issue was. And she was appointed by a Republican. But she's a prior member of the court, and there has been more of a shift in the more recent years. But even with Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, more Gorsuch than Kavanaugh, there's been surprises where he's come down on things. The decision, the Bostock opinion that Title VII covers LGBT rights was not something anybody really saw coming from him. We thought maybe we could convince Justice Roberts to join us with the other four liberal justices that had consistently gone that way on similar kinds of cases. But he used a strict textual approach and came out to the same result that the other justices would have. And so it was just like, oh, well, that didn't see that coming. Or his decision on McGirt, which is a decision about the location of reservations, or if certain tribal areas in Oklahoma still exist when Congress never acted to disestablish them. And his approach, although not completely out of left field or something like that, was not the way that the other members of the court thought he would, or that people thought, oh, well, somebody appointed by Trump or a Republican judge will go that way. And sometimes they do. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I do think, though, my hope is that this is not something that the decision of who to replace Justice Ginsburg does not happen now, and it happens after the election. And I would hope, and that's kind of what I was doing with my letter to one of our senators. I don't know that I'll get anything back from it, or that he'll do anything, but there's a lot of people, and there's a good reason to go ahead and vote, to donate to causes and things that you believe in, and political groups and all of that. And I completely agree with all of that. The real danger I see in this, the concern for uncertainty, is that, if somebody gets appointed to the Supreme Court, they are there for life. And that's part of the Constitution. It's not something that a new Senate can take over. We could add more people to the court, and we could change it from a 9-justice Supreme Court to 11. But the last time that a president tried to do that, it didn't go so well for him. And there's a lot of resistance to re-changing that around. personally, I think it would be a lot better if we adopted something. It would require a constitutional amendment, but something that would change Supreme Court justices from being a lifetime appointment to a term, and to allow them to essentially, like, every president gets a certain number of justices on the court, and so it'll fluctuate. They stay longer than the term of the president, but they're also not there for life, and every president would have an opportunity to put somebody, at least one person, on the bench to have an impact for a period of time. It would take a constitutional amendment, and that is a lot of effort that I don't know that we can get there, or there's a lot, I don't know. It's just, I think that's the concern. That's the thing that I've had, is just who knows what's going to happen. This year has been crazy enough, and with this, and then the election, and I have no idea. But I encourage everyone to do what you can. You should vote. You should make your plan to vote. If you haven't done that, there's a lot of resources to do that. If you're in a state where you can do absentee ballot, and that's something you want to do, there's deadlines for that. Or if there's not I don't think Oklahoma has like an actual deadline, but you've got to allow time for it to get there, process, them to send you the stuff so that you can send it back by the time of the election. And some states required excuses for things and all that kind of stuff. But there are some great resources online. I think one that I would point you to would be like Vote Save America, which gives a lot of resources about that and how to find that information. Make sure you're registered to vote, where your polling place is, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so if anybody is concerned about things or anything along those lines, this is, I think this time it's very difficult for a lot of people. So I've really rambled on about this, and now it's not quite as short of a video, but that's pretty much the end of what I'm going to say. So everybody have a great weekend, enjoy your stitching, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Alrighty, bye!